We explain the Dutch West India Company. With the Dutch takeover of the Portuguese Empire in the Indies, a shaky 12-year truce with Spain was signed. Spain came out of the deal with basically nothing to show. Spain feared the growing Dutch power in the Pacific would begin to threaten the territorial gains they'd made in the Philippines since Magellan. They had invaded the islands in the 1560s and found a ready group of islanders who'd not been exposed to major world religion. The Spanish Jesuits had been converting the Filipinos to Catholicism. Knowing the Calvinist Dutch had taken control of Ceylon's cinnamon trade and Java's coffee trade, Spain was not willing to lose an open Catholic mission field to Protestants. The 12-year treaty protected Spanish gains, however it also led some Dutch to pursue a Spanish vendetta by becoming pirates. Many Dutch traders were itching to find a northwest passage to the Indies after Henry Hudson's journey for them in 1609. However, the truce did not allow them back into the Atlantic. Although many Dutch ships broke the treaty by flying foreign flags as they wrapped around South America, and some engaged in piracy. In 1621, the truce lifted, and the Dutch granted permission for the formation of the West India Company. They had a more limited hand than the East India Company, as they could not declare war, but the goals of the joint stock company were the same, and they continued to take on the Portuguese Empire in the West the same way they had in the East. So they attacked Atlantic Portuguese colonies in Africa and Brazil in order to control the triangle trade in sugar and slaves. However, none of their actions had long-term success, so they mostly resorted to piracy. To guard and protect their most successful Atlantic colony, the New Netherlands, and their Hudson settlements, especially their fur trading post at Fort Orange, which is today's Albany, they placed a series of trading colonies at the mouth of the Hudson on the islands of Manhattan, Staten Island, and Long Island.
They named the new colony New Amsterdam. The director, Peter Minuet, offered the local tribes trinkets and good for possession of the region. It would open up more Dutch settlements like Harlem and Brooklyn, and regional settlements across the river in New Jersey. Governor Peter Stuyvesant organized the colony to include a wall to defend the north, a canal, gabled brick trading houses, and a fort to guard the entrance to the Hudson. The colony also boasted religious diversity against the wishes of Peter Stuyvesant. It allowed Jewish refugees from Dutch Brazil to settle. The Dutch also brought slaves from Africa into the construction and labor of the colony. Land was given out under patroonships, which was large plots given to individuals who brought 50 or more settlers to their land. The Dutch settlement in New Amsterdam contributed over 7,500 words to the American vocabulary: Santa Claus, bowling, ice skating, cookies, and pancakes, just to name a few. The English would take the colony in 1664 and rename it New York. The Dutch came to realize that they were not as successful in colonizing as they were becoming merchants on the sea. The English would eventually take over most of their colonies in the West, and then the East Indies as well, using the Dutch tactics. England would eventually fight the Dutch in South Africa in the Boer War. Dutch trading vastly contributed to the growth of the slave trade and a more commercial style of trading that would eventually become capitalism.